Welcome to this very short video using Excel. We're going to do some of our data entry in Excel so that you can kind of get a feel for data preparation and data files using something that should ideally be familiar to you. In our descriptive statistics and inferential statistics lecture, we may use SPSS as well as examples, but mostly everything you could want to do is really for really introductory stuff is you can do in Excel. So let's go ahead and start with some data entry. If you've never done any sort of spreadsheet work or just kind of data entry work in Excel, I'll just walk through that and we'll see how we can set this up for a very simple experiment using our healthy eating example I've used. If you recall, the healthy eating data example, our research example, is that I want to examine whether healthy eating has an impact on mathematical achievement. In doing so, I find two classrooms. So I go out, I talk with some of my colleagues and friends, and I have two classrooms in the 7th grade school. And one group we're going to give apples, healthy food, before a quiz. And the other group is going to get a chocolate bar, equivalent amount of calories approximately. So as we're setting up our data set for this, we might want to think about the variables we might need. So here, maybe I want a variable for identification. Then we'll have a naming variable for individuals. For now, we'll just put in their first name. And we'll say which of the two classrooms are in. Let's call it classroom as the next variable. And finally, we'll just say that we're giving them, we create sort of a short quiz, 10-point quiz, 10 questions. Achievement style quiz. So I have 4 variables that I'm creating. So I'm going to go ahead and give individuals. We'll have, say there's 20 students per classroom. We're going to give each person an ID. So student 1 gets the ID of 1. And this person's name is Alla, and they are in classroom 1. Student 2 is also going to be in classroom 1. This is Alexis, and she's in classroom 1. Now, if we're entering this data and we already have the quiz information, which we'll say we do, we're going to go ahead and give them some values. So we'll say Ella got an 8 out of 10 on the quiz, and Alexis got a 7 out of 10. And then I'm going to go through, and we're going to say we have 40 students total. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you a quick drag and drop if you've never seen this here. Now we have 40 IDs. And now we can fill in, if we want, all 40 names of students, which classroom they're in. The first 20, we'll do all classroom 1. And then we'll do classroom 2 for the next 20, because there's 20 students in each classroom. So I just drug that down. And now I'm just going to fill in their names, and I'm going to fill in their quiz grades. And I've gone through, I've already done this, so we don't waste 10 minutes of time with me doing some bad data entry here or something. So I've gone through, so this is just an extension of this, these 4 columns. I've gone through, I've given each one their ID, their first name, their classroom, and their math quiz. Now, I've done the ID here, I did it slightly differently. I just went through 1 through 40, and we had students in alphabetical order originally. Not including the classroom. So there's ways to sort in Excel. If you've never done that, I'll go ahead and show you. Sorting. We'll go ahead and sort by ID. And we can see we can sort by ID. Students' ID and name are also sorted together. And we can see individuals are either in classroom 1 or classroom 2. And we have their score on their quiz. So this is a very simple data set. This is something that we'll see as we get into our very simple inferential statistics. We could be setting this data set up to be doing a very simple t-test. So I can also go ahead and resort this. One reason I might want to sort by classroom first, and then sort by, well, let's go ahead and sort by first name. It's just we have all of the individuals that were in classroom 1 first, and then all the individuals that are in classroom 2 second. for no other reason, just spot check our data, make sure we have names and IDs. You always want to verify your data. So you'd want to go back through if you have hard copies of individuals or this data elsewhere. You want to check their ID, their name. You've assigned an ID. You want to check their name. If this were a full data set, I'd have their last name too, but there's no reason to, for confidentiality reasons and other reasons, there's no reason to have last names here. I'd want to verify that Alla is indeed in classroom 1 and that she scored an 8 on this quiz. So the first step, getting my data in, and then I'm verifying that data would be correct. And we also could create a very simple code book. So this is a very simple code book I've created. I've just said which column our data are in. So in column 1, variable 1 is called ID. And then we have information there. It's their identification variable. Column 2, I can go back. Column 1, ID. Column 2 is first name. Column 3 is classroom. Column 4 is math quiz. So this is a code book. It tells me what name of the variable, and then it tells me the information in there. And here is, for math quiz, it is the grade out of 10 on a short achievement test. So this is the data with variable names. This is the code book trying to explain to me what's in my data set. So that is a very simple Excel data spreadsheet. From here, even in Excel, we can do some very simple descriptive statistics, and we can do a little bit of inferential statistics right in Excel, which we'll get into in our next lecture.